I was like, they asked me, "Are you sure you want to go? You want to start streaming?" No, never want to start streaming. Hello, people. Yeah. Getting ready to record episodes 50 and 51. Made it to 50 episodes. Yay! Yeah. I would have more enthusiasm right now, except the fall being what it is. It's the start of my seasonal affective disorder. So getting energy up is you know, a difficult thing. Yeah. But that being that, I'll start recording here in a minute here. Get my dashboard up here. It's quiet. It's quiet. Too quiet. Yeah, I never expect anything. Let's face facts here. I'm recording in the middle of in the middle of a weekday, in the middle of the afternoon. I don't, you know, I don't think I'll get many people from that. So anyway, full show today as usual. Yeah, well, not full, but it's an easy show today. Just 1 week out from Thanksgiving and Black Friday, which since I work in retail, it is my Black Friday. Luckily, they've stopped having us have 10-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts. So for the past few years, I've just had 8-hour shifts. So I come in, basically, it's all done, it's all over. They're breaking down stuff, and that's pretty much my entire night. That Thursday night and the Friday is just breaking everything down, putting the store back together. And it's a shorter run to Christmas this year, so because there's 1 week less because of how the calendar lines up. Anyway, let's get started. Breathe in, breathe out, reduce, reuse, recycle. All right. Let's get recordee. Tonight, a Discovery star gets engaged, Ryan Johnson has words for diversity haters, and Disney Plus is doing just fine on this 50th edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight, episode 50. Pretty snazzy, and I'm sure that these past few days you spent your times watching and listening to Disney Plus. What was the first thing you started watching? It was probably The Mandalorian. Well, not me. I watched The Black Hole. It's a pretty decent sci-fi movie for the era. It does well a lot of those movies did in the 70s. It starts with this overture over a black screen before starting the scene, like 2001 Space Odyssey or Star Trek the Motion Picture. It has sort of a draw your own conclusion type of ending as well. I wonder why Disney hasn't considered rebooting it. Anyway, I think Disney Plus is pretty decent for the price, but I don't think they. But I do think they need to add a last watch feature to the starting page. The good news is I've seen reports that they are in the process of adding that. It just hasn't rolled out to all the different apps for all the different devices. So that's something to look forward to. Because frankly, myself, I tend to be a start and stop watcher. I tend to watch it a little bit, stop, do something else, and then come back to it like a book, like a novel. Anyway, let's get on with the news. And we start the Star Trek news today with the original Star Trek animated series. It's going to be leaving Netflix come December. According to the info page for the show for Netflix, it's quote available until 12/1/2019. Now, this will be the first Star Trek show to no longer be available on Netflix. Most likely, CBS is bringing it to CBS All Access, but the show, of course, is also available on Amazon Prime, or you could go old school and buy it on the DVD. Star Trek the Animated Series ran for 22 episodes, and for many fans, acts as the fourth season of the original series. It also was the first Star Trek series to win an Emmy, receiving the Emmy for Outstanding Entertainment Children's Series in 1975, a year before I was born. If you want to know how old I am, there you go. Do the math. While we're on the subject of Star Trek and animated shows, it's been a while since we've heard anything about the new one, Star Trek Lower Decks, which is due out next year. Comicbook.com talked with voice actor Jack Quaid, who plays Ensign Brad Boimler on the show, and he said, quote, "We're in the middle of recording that now. To get to be a part of that world in any way is so cool. That show is it's very different from Harvey Girls. It's way more adult, but it's so hilarious and surprisingly sweet, and very Trek. Fans of Star Trek will get little inferences and things that we sprinkle throughout the show. But also, I think it's very accessible for people who don't know a ton of lore as well. It's just like a fun show in space," unquote. Now, Harvey Girls Forever was his first acting role. Lower Decks is expected to arrive on CBS All Access sometime in 2020. Congratulations are in order to Star Trek Discovery star Anthony Rapp, who tweeted the happy news that he is now engaged to fellow actor Kenneth Mitchell, who has portrayed several Klingon characters on the series. Rapp tweeted, quote, "So something happened tonight. I asked Ken if he would marry me, and he said yes. I'm so very happy, and I'm so very thrilled to share this news," unquote. Rapp plays the first openly gay series regular in a Star Trek show. Congratulations to the happy couple. Now Discovery returns in 2020, and Season 2 is now out on Blu-ray and DVD. Discovery actor and comedian Tig Notaro recently spoke with Space.com about being in sci-fi roles in Discovery and the sci-fi movie Lucy in the Sky. She said that she didn't seek out these sci-fi roles, but felt, quote, open to that world, It's very different. I like it. I like being a recurring role on Star Trek. I'm not looking to become a full cast member, but I enjoy the world. I enjoy the cast and crew, and I think what I have going is kind of perfect. Unquote. She was a fan of the original series, and as a child, saying, quote, I did follow Star Trek when I was a child, the original series. Obviously, I'm more familiar with Discovery now, but I love being a part of it, if just simply for the ability to tell people I'm on Star Trek. It's really fun to be able to say that. Unquote. She also talked to Space.com that and told them that she might enjoy playing characters that work in space. She she's not exactly sure she would want to go to space herself, saying, quote, I think it's really exciting and terrifying. If I could be in space, I would just like to be teleported. I don't know what I would want that actual takeoff and journey to outer space. I was just talking to my wife about that. She has absolutely no interest in being in outer space. I don't think we're going to run into should we go, should we not go. I would bring my sons. I really think that they would be interested. It's fun. I'm proud to be a part of it. My sons, they think I actually work in space because whenever I go off to Toronto to film Star Trek, I always tell them I have to go work on the space rocket. Unquote. Would you like a small statue of Captain Spock in your home? Well, Sideshow and Darkside Collectible Studio are set to release a 1 to 3 scale museum quality statue of Captain Spock as seen in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. The statue is a spitting image of Leonard Nimoy as his iconic character circa 1982. It's 25 inches tall in the iconic Monster Maroon Starfleet uniform. The statue is made in polystone resin with lifelike skin details and is limited and individually numbered. Orders are being taken now, and it'll come out in the fourth quarter of 2020. But be prepared to open your wallet wide, as it'll cost you $1,299 or $146.13 on a payment plan. So, that's it for Star Trek news. Let's go to the Star Wars news. Now, some people have taken issues with Star Wars The Last Jedi and the amount of diversity in the casting. Because how dare a galaxy far, far away have more than one woman and more than one person of color in any kind of prominent role? If this is you, then Rian Johnson has some strong words for you. While speaking at a live event for Wired while promoting his new movie, Knives Out with Chris Evans, he said, quote, if someone's responding to diversity negatively, bleep, unquote. He went on to say, quote, if anyone didn't like the movie, I'm not saying that's why they didn't like it. It wasn't surprising to me. It wasn't surprising at all to me. I grew up as a Star Wars fan, and I was in my 20s when the prequels came out, and this whole idea that's all been sunshine and roses, and suddenly everyone's yelling at me at each other is baffling me. Ryan went on to say that, and you know what, folks? Let's back up here. I was distracted by my phone. I forgot to silence my phone, so let's go back here, all the way back to the beginning. Some people took issues with Star Wars The Last Jedi and the amount of diversity in the casting. Because how dare a galaxy far, far away have more than one woman and more than one person of color in any kind of prominent role? Now, if this is you, then Rian Johnson has some strong words for you. While speaking at a live event for Wired while promoting his new movie, Knives Out, he said, quote, if someone's responding to diversity negatively, bleep. Now, Chris Evans also responded to that, saying, if anyone didn't like the movie, I'm not saying that's why they didn't like it. It wasn't surprising at all to me. I grew up as a Star Wars fan, and I was in my 20s when the prequels came out, and this whole idea that it's all been sunshine and roses and suddenly everybody's yelling at each other is baffling me. Ryan Johnson then add on to what Chris Evans said, and said, quote, "And I feel like people care deeply about Star Wars, and every single person has a slightly different version of what they think Star Wars is. And so much of the fun of it is arguing about it, since we were kids, right? On the playground, you're yelling at your friends about who would win in a fight. It's part and parcel about the passion of being a Star Wars fan," unquote. You know, maybe if you can't let it go, just let it go. Take a page from Frozen. With the rise of Skywalker on the way, there's so much more trolls, and now they're bashing Naomi Aki, who's in the movie as a character named Janna. She, however, did get some advice about it from someone who herself got bashed a lot, Kelly Marie Tran. Kelly gave the new Star Wars actor some advice, and Naomi shared that advice with Metro. Quote, "I think watching the experience of Kelly Marie Tran and talking to her, I got a lot of inspiration from her about how to grow a thicker skin when it comes to people's opinions of not just your work, also who you are. There's a difference. That's a challenge, but I'm fired up. I feel good about it ultimately," unquote. So there you have it, folks. Just, if you can't say anything positive about this character, let it go. Yeah, we don't need to hear it. Besides that, the ramp up for the Rise of Skywalker is now in high gear. Daisy Ridley talking with Adoro Cinema about a scene that left her and the crew visibly moved. She said, quote, There was a scene that touched me a lot. It was our last day shooting in Jordan, and the natural light was fading, and it was so exciting. It was just a short scene. We filmed very fast, but the crew was shaken in a way I had not seen before, and I thought, my God, if this is people's immediate reaction when the scene isn't even ready, imagine what it will be like to see it in the movies, with the John Williams soundtrack and all that." Unquote. As to what that scene was, I guess we'll have to wait. However, you remember the scene from the trailer with her in dark robes with the double-bladed red lightsaber? Daisy did discuss that scene, saying, quote, "That scene was filmed in England in November. There were huge water cannons and it was really, really cold. Everybody literally soaked. It was hard, but was also amazing because the scene caught the immediacy of the reaction," unquote. Carrie Fisher's death was heartbreaking, but what might be even more heartbreaking was the plan for Leia that was supposed to occur in The Rise of Skywalker. According to Carrie's brother, Todd Fisher, she was to go full Jedi. Todd, speaking with Yahoo Entertainment, said, quote, "She was going to be the big payoff in this final film. That's what the intent was. She was going to be the last Jedi, so to speak. People used to say to me, why is it that Carrie never gets a lightsaber and chops up some bad guys?" Unquote. A final storyline for Leia was created for the final movie in the Skywalker saga using deleted scenes from The Force Awakens. The Rise of Skywalker comes out in just a month. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi writer Hussein Amini thinks that making a series instead of a movie was the right idea. Amini talked with discussing film about the upcoming series. Quote, "I think because of what we were speaking about before, the situation is so complex, both for him personally, in a way, the state of the galaxy. You sort of need time to explore it, and to be honest, there are loads of other stories within that period as well. It's quite a few years. There's so much going on between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that hasn't been explored. The idea of being able to go into a character journey, plus the politics, and plus all the vastness of the Empire, and what's going on is exciting just because it feels like a proper period of history, and sometimes is hard to do in 2 hours. Sometimes with 2-hour movies, there is always an imperative for the action and the plot to move particularly fast and quickly and to go on from action sequence to action sequence, and there are many more aspects to storytelling that I find interesting." Unquote. No word yet on when the series will come to Disney Plus. And while we're speaking of Disney Plus, let's have a little peek into business. Disney CEO Bob Iger, in the latest investor earnings call, said that a lot of guests are holding off on visiting the Disneyland and Disney World until the Galaxy's Edge is fully opened. There is one more e-ticket attraction coming to the Star Wars themed attraction, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. It will open in December at Disney World and on January 17th at Disneyland. However, even with the lower attendance at the parks, it's still been a good year at the Disney parks. They've been seen an 8% increase in revenue. Now, speaking of Mr. Iger, on that same call, he announced that the Star Wars films will be taking a little break, with Iger saying that their current thinking is that Marvel and Star Wars are more than just movie franchises. Of course, it's not like they're going to stop making content, as there are currently 3 Star Wars series in production. Now, let's take a break and listen to this message. I'd like to thank you for listening to this edition of Multiverse Tonight. You know, one way you can support this show is to listen to it through the Radio Public app. Every episode of Multiverse Tonight is heard through the Radio Public app, or iPhone or Android, means that you can get this podcast, and we get a couple of cents in our can. Find the Radio Public app in Google and iTunes app stores, and give it a try today. Thanks, me. Now, let's get on to the geek news. Can a third Fantastic Beasts movie be what's needed to keep the Harry Potter film franchise going? Warner Brothers announced that the third in the Fantastic Beasts franchise will start filming this spring. The third one is expected to put more of a spotlight on Jude Law's Dumbledore, with more action at Hogwarts. The movie will also take the story to Rio de Janeiro. Warner Brothers still plans on making 5 movies in the Fantastic Beasts series. The third one will hit theaters in November of 2021. The Halo series at Showtime has added 3 new actors. Danny Sapani, Olive Gray, and Charlie Murphy have all joined the cast based on the show based on the video game. Sapani will play Captain Jacob Keyes, a dedicated military man, war hero, and caring father who finds himself working alongside his daughter and his ex-wife. Gray will be playing Dr. Miranda Keyes, a brilliant UNSC commander who is trying to learn the technology, language, and culture of the Covenant, and Charlie Murphy will play Maquis, a human who was orphaned and raised by the Covenant and shares their contempt for humanity. The series, which began filming in Budapest this month, has a 9-episode commitment from Showtime and is scheduled to air in the first quarter of 2021. The Wheel of Time series on Amazon has cast Michael McElton. He will play Tam Althor, the adoptive father of protagonist Rand Althor. Michael is best known for his role as Roose Bolton on Game of Thrones. Wheel of Time stars Rosamund Pike and Joshua Stradowski. No premiere date has been announced. Even before the launch of Disney Plus, Disney was doing quite well for itself. In its fourth quarter earnings call, the studio reported total revenue of $19.1 billion, exceeding analyst estimates of $19.404 billion. Toy Story 4 and Aladdin did pretty well for the studio, and even the losses in the Fox-inherited films like Ad Astra, The Art of Racing in the Rain, and Dark Phoenix were partially offset by income from TV and streaming. The stock closed up after the launch of Disney Plus. Now, by the way, a little aside here, I must note that I hold a share of stock in Disney. Yeah, just being open. Anyway, Amazon has given an early renewal for its Lord of the Rings series. The show has just begun production in New Zealand. The head of Amazon Studios, Jennifer Schulte, has confirmed to Deadline the news that the second season is already in the works during the company's holiday party at the H Club in Hollywood. Now, Amazon has held the rights since 2017. The Hollywood Reporter has reported that the Chris... Hold on here. The Hollywood Reporter has reported that the Chris Pratt-led sci-fi thriller The Tomorrow War will come out this Christmas 2020. The movie is being produced by Skydance Media and Paramount, was previously known for... let's try that again. That sentence made no sense. The Hollywood Reporter has reported that the Chris Pratt-led sci-fi thriller The Tomorrow War will come out Christmas 2020. The movie is currently being produced by Skydance Media and Paramount and was previously known as Ghost Draft. The movie is set in a future where humanity is losing a war against aliens, and in order to turn the tide of the war, scientists have begun drafting soldiers from the past. The movie also stars Betty Gilpin and J.K. Simmons and is being directed by Chris McKay. Welcome to Fantasy Island of Horrors. The trailer for the Blumhouse and Sony Pictures big screen version of Fantasy Island has arrived. The movie will be a supernatural horror film and will follow Michael Peña's Mr. Rourke, who makes his guests' secret fantasies come true. But then their fantasies become nightmares, and the guests have to solve the mystery of the island if they want to save their lives. The movie stars Lucy Hale, Maggie Q, Austin Stowell, Portia Doubleday, Jimmy O. Yang, Ryan Henson, and Michael Rooker has your cast. The movie arrives on my birthday, Valentine's Day. Yep, now I've given you the year, now I've given you the day. Hey, go to it. NBC's The Good Place is going out with a bang. The Good Place will have an extra long 90-minute farewell, which will include an extended episode as well as a post-show special with the full cast hosted by Seth Meyers. That episode airs on January 30th. Disney has moved the release date for Fox's Kingsman prequel, The King's Man, back 7 months from February 14th to September 18th, 2020. The Matthew Vaughn directed film stars Ralph Fiennes and looks at the origins of the world's first independent intelligence agency. And that brings us to the end of another sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. Now, be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as Multiverse Tonight as well. And if you'd like to contribute some money, please go to mtpodcast.com to go to our Coffee or Patreon as well. And be sure to visit multiversetonight.com and check out our affiliate marketplace links, the link to our TeePublic store, our show notes, and so much more. And if you're a subscriber, be sure to share us with your friends. And if you're brand new to the show, please be sure to subscribe and leave us with some feedback and let us know how we're doing. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for our intro music and Lobo Loco for our outro theme music. Thank you all for watching the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in just a couple days with the comic book edition. Now, please, exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. One down, one to go. I do a little switcheroos here. Change up my mini stream deck here so I can properly do the comics edition. That wasn't bad. That was about the length that I normally get it. I always seem to be amazed because if you notice, there really wasn't much in the way of Star Trek and Star Wars news. Most of that news was in the geek category. Just not usually how I do it, or how I try for it. But this time of year, the news starts slowing down, especially around Thanksgiving to Christmas. It just starts, slowing down as the studios start slowing down around the holidays. Actors and executives like to take a long Christmas break. By the way, you like my mug? Ain't my mug cool? Tell you what, folks, if you donate some money in December, I will buy you a mug. What do you think of that? Think of this as the special offer for those of you watching this on YouTube later, because I've or watching on the stream. Donate, get free mug. Hey, I'll be generous. Anyway, let's get reset here for comic books. Okay, well, comic book related. Let's just call it that. There's just one little thing I want to do before I start that. Let's check and see. That my video for the sci-fi edition is in here. By the way, Cord Cutters News has, which is a great resource if you're cutting the cord. By the way, has now a story up on how to cancel Disney Plus if you want to cancel it. They just started billing me today, which is great. I'm going to keep them anyway. Hold on here. Good, recorded. That's what, as a person making podcasts, that's the one thing that you're always paranoid about, is that it recorded. Because frankly, there's nothing worse than your podcast not recording. But good. Let's go on to the comics edition. So, bring up our notes and hit record, and we'll go. Tonight, the She-Hulk show gets a Pickle Rick of a writer, Titans goes for another season, and the Batman movie hires some villains. All that and more on this comic edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello everyone, and welcome to the comics edition of Multiverse Tonight, episode 51. I'm still playing Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch. It's still good, although, frankly, I'm kind of slowing down. And do you believe that's almost the end of November? Yeah, it's just a short hop, skip, and a jump to the end of the year. Well, at least we have some new Rick and Morty to watch. I hope that you enjoyed the special episode of the sci-fi podcast last week with Tom Costantino. I had a really good time. Interviewing him, and I hope to have more interviews like that in the future. Anyway, let's get on with the Marvel news. Disney Plus's She-Hulk has found a new writer in Rick and Morty writer Jessica Gao. Jessica won an Emmy for writing the Pickle Rick episode of the show, and this will be her first development for the show since it was announced at D23. This comes after the news that Jeremy Slater, who developed the Umbrella Academy for Netflix, will be overseeing the Moon Knight series. Could the hiring of Jessica Gao show that She-Hulk will have a humorous bent? We can only hope. If you've read the comic book series, especially when Peter David's writing it, it's very funny. Anyway, Marvel head Kevin Feige, in an interview with Bloomberg News, told the outlet that the Disney Plus Loki series will directly tie into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this is not the only Disney Plus series to tie into the movie, as WandaVision will as well. The 6-episode Loki series won't be out until 2021. Marvel Studios might be doing very well today, but the recession almost killed it. Now, let's go back and look a little bit of history. Call this your history lesson for today. And in order for Marvel Studios to get off the ground back in 2005, Marvel needed a huge loan. It got that loan, $525 million, from Merrill Lynch, and it was very good timing indeed. Just 4 years later, in 2008, the Great Recession happened, and that money would have just all dried up. Talking with the Hollywood Reporter's Scott Feinberg, Kevin Feige confirmed the fact that Merrill Lynch wouldn't have been able to provide that funding, saying, quote, "That's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. We wouldn't have gotten the loan afterwards. You're probably right," unquote. Why? Simple. Merrill Lynch became a casualty of the recession after losing $51.8 billion in the subprime mortgage catastrophe. The company ended up being sold off to Bank of America. Which is kind of funny because now Merrill Lynch could have gotten that money back in spades. After all, Marvel makes billions of dollars with just one movie. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Anyway, Zachary Levi was almost Star-Lord. James Gunn, the maker of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, has confirmed the fact during a Q&A on Instagram stories. According to Mr. Gunn's answer to the question about Zachary Levi being considered, James Gunn wrote, quote, "Yes, and he was amazing. So when Peter Safran, the producer of Shazam, came to me asking about who would be good as the character, I strongly suggested Zach. I've been told by Peter and the DC folks that's what got the ball rolling. But I think it was #Zachary Levi's immense talent that did that," unquote. Levi responded to the post on his Instagram, saying, quote, "And brother, it means the absolute world. Thanks for seeing that in me and sharing that conviction with others. It helped literally change my life. I hope we get to work together at some point soon," unquote. So in their universe, Zachary Levi was Star-Lord. Anyone up for some universe hopping? Speaking of hopping, the Tokyo burglar, nicknamed the Amazing Spider-Man, may have been caught. According to the site fnn.jp, a Mr. Hirogachi was arrested on November 1st for allegedly breaking into the rooftop office in a Tokyo neighborhood of Shinjuku. The 26-year-old man allegedly broke into a window, got in, and got out with 66,000 yen, which is approximately $655 in American. Because of the techniques and methods used, they thought that he was the serial burglar dubbed the Amazing Spider-Man. The burglar has a thing for scaling buildings to get access to his targets. The reason he is called Amazing is this. All the robberies take place at night that rainstorm, or typhoon has just taken place. Ami is Japanese for rain. The Amazing Spider-Man is suspected of at least a dozen burglaries. Now, let's go on to some DC news. The CW has officially given the 5th season of Legends of Tomorrow its premiere date. According to a report from Deadline, the show will return on Tuesday, January 21st, right after Arrow. This will be a special edition of the show. There will be a special edition of the show on the 14th that will tie into the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. We also got word that the last episode of Arrow, the series finale, will be a 2-hour affair on January 28th. The first hour will be a finale preview with the final episode following that. So basically you're going to spend an hour reminiscing, and then they're going to jump into the final episode. And, it's the thing you do for a long-running show, especially one that started an entire universe. While we're on the CW verse, the Flash's Danielle Panabaker announced that she and husband Hayes Robbins are expecting their first child. Danielle announced it via Instagram with a photo of herself eating breakfast with the caption, "Eating for two," with a winking face emoji. According to a report from People magazine, the couple will welcome their child in the spring of 2020. Danielle and Hayes got married back in 2017. Congratulations. Author Neil Gaiman, speaking with Radio Times, gave an update on the Sandman series that's being made for Netflix. He told the program, quote, "There are 3 of us, showrunner Alan Heinberg, David S. Goyer, and me, and we've just finished writing the first episode and plotting and breaking down the first 2 seasons, so we'll see what happens next," unquote. No second season has been officially greenlit, and no word has come forth on casting, production, or release dates. DC Universe and Warner Bros. Television have officially announced that Titans will be coming back for a 3rd season. The series debuted on the streaming service back in 2018 and is currently in the midst of its 2nd season. This 2nd season has seen the team of young heroes face off against Deathstroke. Now, this 3rd season will not arrive until the fall of 2020. California is still suffering from fires. Now, if you'll remember my interview with the Orville producer Tom Costantino, that interview had been delayed from being recorded a week prior due to the fire that caused his family to be under a voluntary evacuation order. Now, Deadline reports that the Warner Brothers lot had to be evacuated as a precautionary measure after a small brush fire broke out in the Hollywood Hills near the studio. The Barham fire started near 3694 North Barham Boulevard, which is just about a half a mile from the Warner studio lot, around 1:52 in the afternoon of Saturday, November 2nd. Luckily, by 5:10 that day, The Los Angeles Fire Department reported that the forward progression had been stopped. By that point, the fire burned 34 acres in the hills between Burbank and Universal City. Now, speaking of Warner Brothers, the studio has announced that it's updating its logo. The logo will now be an elongated blue shield with the letters WB on it. Now, this harkens back to how the logo looked circa the 1930s. The new logo will begin appearing on the company's productions starting in early 2020. Now, if you'd like to look at all the different variations of the WB logo, I'll have a link to a site that has a detailed history of all the different permutations of that iconic logo. It's really kind of fascinating to see how much the studio's logo has changed in 100 years. We got some Batman casting news. First off, the Batman director, Matt Reeves, confirmed on Twitter that Andy Serkis will be playing the role of Alfred Pennyworth. Wonder if he'll be in green suit for that. Probably not. He joins Robert Pattinson as the Batman, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. Newcomer Jamie Lawson will be playing a new character named Bella, who is a grassroots political candidate running for office. Or is that just a ruse and she's playing Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl? And Paul Dano from There Will Be Blood has been cast as Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler. Now, unquote. Now, that brings us to the end of that casting news. That's a lot of casting. You know, I really kind of looking forward to this movie. I just hope that they haven't, crammed a lot of characters into it to make this thing unwieldy. So, here's hoping. It looks like it's truly the end of the line for Batman's father figure / butler, Alfred Pennyworth. DC has confirmed that he was indeed killed by Bane. His death will be explored in Batman Pennyworth R.I.P., a new one-shot by James Tynion IV and Peter J. Tomasi, with art by Eddie Burrows and Eber Ferreira. Here's the description, quote, Alfred Pennyworth served the Wayne family for decades. Even through the terrible loss of the Dark Knight's parents, his shocking death at the hands of Bane is the only event that could possibly compare to that fateful night in Crime Alley, and it leaves Batman at a similar crossroads. If Alfred was the glue that held the Bat family together, how will Batman deal with it all falling apart? And if the Caped Crusader is to be truly alone, he might either hang that cape up once and for all, or double down and carry on with this vengeful quest forever. Unquote. Batman Pennyworth R.I.P. celebrates the life of one of the most important people in the history of Gotham City, while addressing questions about what's next. The issue comes out on February 12th, 2020, 2 days before my birthday. Anyway, let's get on with some geek news. So, you're watching Disney Plus, and you bring up The Simpsons, but you're dismayed that they're not being presented in their original aspect ratio of 4:3, but in that zoomed-in 16:9 ratio. Well, your cries of anguish have been heard. Disney, in a statement, said, quote, we presented The Simpsons in 16:9 aspect ratio at launch in order to guarantee visual quality and consistency across all 30 seasons. Over time, Disney Plus will roll out new features and add additional viewing options. As part of this, in early 2020, Disney Plus will make the first 19 seasons and some episodes from season 20 of The Simpsons available in their original 4:3 aspect ratio, giving subscribers a choice on how they prefer to view the popular series. Unquote. Now, the reason why there's only a few episodes of season 20 that they need to put into that original aspect ratio was that the show during season 20 went from the 4:3 to 16:9 aspect ratio of today. That was when they started producing the show in HD. Now let's take a moment while I take a drink. And here's some Stitcher news. Hey everyone, we'll get right back to the news, but first, I'd like to tell you about our new affiliate, Stitcher Premium. With Stitcher Premium, you get all your favorite podcasts, but you get them all with no ads. That's right, no audio ads, no banner ads, not even ads on the archives of some of your favorite shows. You also get access to Stitch originals like Marvel's Wolverine, The Long Night, Issa Rae's Fruit, and Colt Cabana's Pro Wrestling Fringe. You also get access to bonus episodes, access to new releases first, and access to the hundreds of comedy albums at your fingertips, and so much more. To get started, just go to Stitcher.com/premium and enter promo code Multiverse for a free month. After that, pay just $4.99 a month, and you can save even more by going yearly for just $34.99. That's nearly a $25 savings over the monthly rate. So go to Stitcher.com/premium and enter promo code Multiverse today. Okay, well, it's not news, it's an ad. Anyway, it's a good deal, and if you try it out, and if you like it so much that you stay, Stitcher will kick back a little to me for bringing you in. So so it's not a way for me to get a few dollars, and considering the convention season is coming up here in the not too distant future, just like 4 months away. It'd be nice to have a few extra bucks, so consider it. Anyway, we talked a few minutes ago about how Warner Brothers was looking to the past to update their logo. Now, Deadline reports that Warner's is bringing back Rin Tin Tin, the German Shepherd that was credited with saving the studio way back in the 1920s. Oh, that's interesting. The story's missing. No, wait. Okay, let's go again. We talked a few minutes ago about how Warner Brothers was looking to the past to update their logo. Now Deadline reports that Warner's is bringing back Rin Tin Tin, the German Shepherd that was credited with saving the studios back in the 1920s. Matt Lieberman, who wrote the upcoming animated movie Scoob and the animated Addams Family movie, will be writing the new show. The movie will be made with Andrew Lazar's Mad Chance Productions, along with rights holders Sasha Jensen and Jeff Miller. Apparently the plan is to make the dog the John Wick of dogs, a hero elite military dog on a covert mission to stop a large-scale attack. Okay. So if John Wick saw his dog killed, and that's what inspired him to get rolling, does Rin Tin Tin's human get killed, and that starts him going along? Kind of an interesting thought experiment. Hocus Pocus 2 is probably something we don't need. However, since it's going to get made, let's check on where the progress is right now. The Hollywood Reporter asked Sarah Jessica Parker about it. Asking if she knows anything, she said, quote, "No, I don't know. There has never been a conversation either in our lives. Someone just asked me on Instagram, and I said, we all said we'd love to someday, but that's the extent of the conversation. I've been asked so much recently about this. It's a seasonal question. It's appropriate." Unquote. The actor then added an addendum to the answer in the article, quote, "When asked, any chance of a sequel, last week on Instagram, Parker responded, we all said yes. Now we wait." Unquote. So there you have it, folks. It is or is not happening. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Sin Miller. That's funny. Sin City is coming to TV, thanks to Legendary TV. The producer has struck a deal with author Frank Miller to adapt a series of comics into a TV series. The studio is currently looking for a distribution deal, and they're close to a deal with Robert Rodriguez, who directed the feature film version. The deal with Frank Miller also calls for an animated prequel as well. Frank Miller has regained those film and TV rights to Sin City just last year. The People's Choice Awards have come and gone, and Avengers Endgame won Movie of 2019 and Action Movie of 2019. Now, Robert Downey Jr. walked away with the Male Movie Star of 2019, and Zendaya won Female Movie Star of 2019 for Spider-Man Far From Home. Tom Holland won Action Movie Star of 2019. The live-action Aladdin won Family Movie of the Year. Beyoncé won Animated Movie Star of 2019 for the live-action or semi-live-action Lion King. Stranger Things won Show of 2019 and Drama Show of 2019, and Millie Bobby Brown took home the award for Female TV Star of 2019. The show Outlander won Binge-Worthy Show, and the sci-fi series Shadowhunters won Sci-Fi Fantasy Show. Now, let's take a quick look at the box office for this past week. Now, we'll start at number 10 with Harriet. The movie came down from number 8 to number 10. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, still hanging there in the top 10 at number 9, came down from 7 to number 9. The movie Joker, which we'll talk about more here in a minute, fell from number 6 to number 8. The Good Liar debuts at number 7. Doctor Sleep fell from number 2 to number 6, losing 57.4% of its week-over-week box office. Last Christmas went from 4 to 5. The movie Playing with Fire went from number 3 to number 4. The Charlie's Angels reboot did a disappointing $8.3 million domestically in its first week, debuting at number 3. The movie Midway fell from number 1 to number 2, and Ford vs. Ferrari debuted in the number 1 slot with $31.4 million. Now, the reason why I wanted to go a little bit more on Joker here, let's take a quick look at the international box office for the year. Now, number 10 is The Wandering Earth. Number 9 is Nizaha. Number 8 is Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. Now, here's the reason why Joker. Joker is number 7 on the worldwide box office for the year so far. It just brought in $1 billion worldwide, and only 322 million of that is United States domestic. It is now like the biggest one, the fastest, I should say, to get to $1 billion in the comic book movies. We'll go up the rest of this. Aladdin came in number 6. Toy Story is sitting at number 5. Captain Marvel is still above that, number 4. Spider-Man Far From Home is number 3. It made $1,131,845,802. The Lion King came at number 2 with $1.6 billion. But Avengers Endgame is still the overall winner. There's no way basically anything can top Avengers Endgame. So far, with 1 month ago until the end of the year, as $2,797,800,564 worldwide. Now it's almost at $1 billion in the United States alone. That's $858,373,000 just in the United States alone. Of course, I don't think there's any theaters in the United States that are probably still showing it. So unless Disney gets greedy and decides to put that movie out in theaters again for just one last run before the end of the year, you know, I think that's probably where it's going to stick. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the comic book news. Now, be sure to go and check us out on our social media channels. We're on Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute some money, please visit mtpodcast.com to go to our Coffee or Patreon links as well. And be sure to visit multiversetonight.com to check out our affiliate marketplace links, our show notes, and so much more. And go to TeePublic and search us out there if you'd like a t-shirt or some other commemorative thing for the podcast. I have more than just our logo there. I have some other cute little logos as well. Anyway, if you're a subscriber, be sure to share us with your friends. And if you're brand new to the show, please be sure to subscribe and leave us with some feedback and just let us know how we're doing. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for our intro music and Lobo Loco for our outro theme music. Now, thank you for watching the comic book edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 days with the comic book edition. Now, please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. I know what you're saying. Why aren't you finishing the show? It's because I messed up on the script, so I want to check something real quick here. That's weird. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Alright, I'll finish. Yeah, for some reason my script didn't have the last few lines on there, and I wanted to make sure that I had the final line right. Yeah. Anyway. Oops. I recorded that last sentence. Well, I think I'm going to have the leftover pizza from yesterday. And I'm going to start working to get this show in order so I can put the first episode up tonight. So, thank you for anyone who's watched this or is watching this now. Thank you very much. Go to you can go back and watch the show from the beginning. But have a good night. Thanks for watching.